loses a couple as Lester Davis comes up to make the stop defensively, number 41.
Yeah, they're not making the A&T running back any friends out there. The Bulldog defense is very stingy. They're really trying to crack down on this A&T running game. And unfortunately, they're giving up big plays on offense in the passing game.
3rd and 7. Passing down for the Aggies. To the end zone. Incomplete. It was in and out of the hands of the receiver. Brad Hinton out of Independence High in Charlotte, North Carolina, playing in front of the hometown crowd.
Yeah, he's got to come up with this ball. He does a good job of getting past the defensive back, but the ball hits him in the face mask and then going down there, he just couldn't quite hold on to it. That's one of those plays where you have to come down with it as a wide receiver. A touchdown catch in the end zone, you don't get that many opportunities coming down with the reception.
So now they're going to bring on Mr. Everything. That is Yannick Matthews, who's hit a 52-yarder in field goals this year. This will come from the 39. It'll be a 49-yard attempt. We saw him hit a 50-yarder against Morgan earlier in the season. Let's see if Matthews can do it now. The kick is up. It is going to be short. No good.
Yeah, kind of scooped up underneath that one there.
49-yard field goal. Falls short. 7-0, our score.
Dedicated to fast response and peace of mind 24 hours a day. Call now.
Back here at Memorial Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, the time remaining in the first quarter, and South Carolina State enjoying a 7-0 lead. Let's look at their last series and how they got down the field and put the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, you saw Cody Martin there just doing some good hard running versus that cover 2 defense there. And then the passing game got involved. Tavares Morgan came up with a big reception there for the first down. And then when you needed a touchdown, who else are you going to go to? Tavares Morgan.
Almost intercepted this pass by Curtis DeLoach, who had to sit out the first half of last week's game against Hampton University for an altercation he got into a couple of weeks ago against Delaware State.
And DeLoach has had a fantastic career. I mean, came in and made freshman All-American and set an NCAA record for punt return, and that record still stands. In one season, he averaged 26.5 yards for punt returns for the season. Phenomenal.
Certainly is. If you look at McCampbell, he's going to run it this time. It wasn't even an option. Had made up his mind. He was going a gain of maybe a yard and a half, maybe 2 up to the 34. Second, be 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, right now, this A&T defense, Aggie Pride, Blue Death defense is challenging the Bulldogs, saying, we don't think you can throw the football, so we're going to stop Cody Martin, and we're going to make Reese McCampbell beat us. And his numbers right now aren't reflecting that, but he's got the 1 touchdown, and he's got the lead.
5th-year senior out of Lithonia, Georgia. McCampbell pump fakes, then throws it, and this one is intercepted. Coming up with it is Theron Thomas. He had a big one against Hampton last week with 2:59 to go. It stopped the Hampton drive, and here he comes up. He's playing in place of James McCoy at the corner, and he comes up with his 2nd big INT of the season.
Yeah, and anytime you want to go after a weak link, you try and get him with double moves. And that time, McCampbell did the slant go to Michael King and didn't throw the ball out there far enough. And if you're a defensive back and you're trying to respond to teams that are trying to challenge you, what do? You go away and you get an interception. The slant and go pattern there, Thomas wasn't fooled, jumped up and got the ball, didn't allow King an opportunity to get back into the play. Great job of stepping up to the challenge by Theron Thomas.
From their own 39, 1st and 10, pass complete. Good for a 1st down out to midfield. And there you see on the receiving end, number 80, Kenny Perry, Jacksonville, North Carolina, rather, is where he hails from.
The Watkins are trying to do some things with the short pass. We've seen him throw the deep ball. Now they're working on the short passing game. They're trying to settle down this A&T offense to put some points on the board.
Keeping it on the ground again, but nothing doing. The running game has been pretty much stymied for the Aggies today.
You know, you talked about South Carolina State's offense, and maybe part of the reason they're having trouble with A&T is because of the offensive coordinator from North Carolina A&T, Coach McNeil, was the offensive coordinator put in this passing game that the South Carolina State Bulldogs use. So when you get coaches and interaction amongst the conference coaches, is every now and then it takes a while for the schematics to wear off and let the players make plays. So McNeil's done a fantastic job with this A&T offense, and he built this South Carolina State Bulldog offense as well.
Keeping it on the ground again. Seeing a lot of new running backs in the backfield for North Carolina A&T. Seen Frank Patterson, we've seen Dunn, we've seen Carl Scriven. There's Patterson again. He had 173 yards rushing in the season opener against the Eagles of North Carolina Central University.
The thing about it, normally you see running back by committee, they all got different styles. All these guys run alike. They're built alike and they run alike, so it's a little bit different running back by committee.
3rd down and 11. The blitz, and they're coming right up the middle. And the quarterback manages to get it off. Boy, they were coming.
Johnny Williams, and they brought the free safety blitz, and on the free safety blitz, the middle field is wide open. And you know, I used to love when I see guys coming there about 100 miles an hour, and they didn't know if I was going to go left or right, and that's what Johnny Williams did. He came in there out of control, and all Rico Watkins did was sidestep in one way, what we call one of those Olay getaway moves, and Williams went sliding down and got embarrassed there, but he came in there hard.
Yannick Matthews, his second punt of the afternoon. Leonard Goolsby, a very dangerous return man, averaging 17 yards per punt return, is back. He'll field it at the 2-yard line, make it to 3. I don't know if that was a smart move or not, but anyway, regardless, it'll be South Carolina State's ball. MBC Network News is the urban voice for news and information that impacts African-American community. Watch NBC Network News. It comes your way weeknights at 7 and 11 p.m. Eastern. That's NBC Network News from their own 4. South Carolina State leading it 7-0. They have the ball for the 4th time this afternoon. And a gorgeous day and a great crowd on hand here at Memorial Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Campbell is in the quarterback of record for the Bulldogs of South Carolina State. In his final game, he came into the season as a preseason second-team All-Selection. Last year, he was second-team All-MEAC. Now the Bulldogs will have to spend a timeout. I don't think they were ready. He has 4,713 career yards coming in and 40 touchdowns coming into today's game. He's thrown 1 today, so that gives him 41 for the season. Our Dodge Player of the Week, brought to you by Dodge. Grab life. Let's check it out. It's Michaud Hollingsworth, and he's a member of the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, the junior running back a week ago against Hampton. 18 carries, 125 yards. He also had a 53-yard touchdown run. He's a junior from Radford, Hope County High. Michaud Hollingsworth, we probably will not see him play today. Radford, North Carolina is where he hails from.
You know, when you look at that stat there, one thing about the MEAC conference is they've got running back after running back after running back, and they keep coming. So although Hollingsworth is a good one, you've also got Rutherford and Howard, you've got Coleman and Hampton University. This is a running back conference, and not only are these guys good, but they've got these star power type running backs in the conference now.
They certainly do.
And Hollingsworth is just one of the few, or one of the many, I should say. It's an oxymoron there, one of the few. One of the many.
Have a great one at Hampton, one at Howard University. Some of these guys are just freshmen.
Yeah.
Here's Cody Martin cutting back against the grain, and Cody getting out across the 10 to about the 11-yard line. They're going to mark it actually at about the 13-yard line. They're giving him about 7-8 yards on the play.
Yeah, and I like that. You know, Martin saying, hold on, you talk about all these other running backs. Don't forget, you got one on the field here that can play just as good as those guys, too.
That's the end of the first quarter here in Charlotte, North Carolina. A great afternoon for MEAC football. South Carolina State leading. Back here in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Battle of the Border. The border is the line between North and South Carolina. And, of course, this is for bragging rights between North and the South. As we start the second quarter, South Carolina State is on the board by virtue of a McCampbell 5-yard pass to Tavares Morgan. And McCampbell, you talk about what he's done throughout his career. I'll tell you, it's been a great career for Reese McCampbell. Back in 2000, there you see the stats on him. He threw 9 touchdown passes. He started 10 of 11 games in that 2000 year in a run-oriented offense. And then 2001, he didn't get to start until midway through the season. The team was 0-6 at the time. He won 5 straight games for them with that performance and threw 5 touchdown passes. Last year, 15 touchdown passes to lead the MEAC in passing. He's second in the conference in passing this year and total offense with 11 touchdowns coming in. He has 1 already in this contest. And here's Cody Martin carrying the ball and going straight ahead. And he picks up maybe a yard or 2. Cody Martin. McCampbell out of Lithonia, Georgia. Goes 6, make that 7 career passing records at South Carolina State.
And I give him a lot of credit because normally when you have a new coach come in and he brings in a different style, he's looking to replace the quarterback right away. And I'm assure you, Pugh brought in some quarterbacks, but McCampbell has withheld the challenge and he's weathered the storm.
And they come up with a big sack. That is the defense. And they get McCampbell before he could get anything going down there. Let's go down to Carlos and talk about one of the heroes from a week ago, Darren Thomas.
Coming up with that last interception, number 4, a sophomore from Greensboro, North Carolina. That's his 4th pick of the year. No stranger to the A&T family. He's been around 19 years, believe it or not. His father is the equipment manager, and he knows a lot about the equipment. Most of the players on the team come to him first before they go to his dad. Back to you guys.
Yeah, because he can get them what they need, right? He's got a little in. Good defense by Curtis DeLoach. Downfield on Kelly King. You talk about Theron Thomas. He made his first start against Hampton, and he made it a memorable one, stopping them late in the contest.
And he's been one of those pleasant surprises there for defensive coordinator Coach Lee there. And you take a look here, they're trying to attack the A&T secondary, just going with the deep balls there. And this is one of those things where you look at A&T on paper, and they don't do a whole lot of things great, but I'll tell you this. I haven't seen a linebacking core as solid in college football in a long time. When you talk about those linebackers of Dixon, who's out, and Okorocha and Milton and Joey Lance, these are linebackers that just flat know how to find the football, and that's why the Blue Death defense is back.
3rd down and long, and pressure on McCampbell. He finally gets it off, throws it incomplete, out of bounds on the far side, and they made Rodriguez Darby pay, as will bring up a 4th down punting situation for the Bulldogs of South Carolina State. It'll be 4th and about 14.
Yeah, you know, we just got finished talking about how well these linebackers from North Carolina A&T get at it. On that play there alone, in order for Reese McCampbell to get that ball away, he had to avoid 3 of those linebackers coming on the blitz. So they've got a ball hawk linebacking core that's second to none in the MEAC conference.
Kobe Brandyberg is back to do the punting. Almost got it blocked, just managed to get it off. And DeLoach will let it bounce. It takes a pretty good roll for Brandyberg, who was just fortunate enough to get that one off. And the ball dives right at about the 42-yard line of A&T. 7-0, our score.
Free bonus gifts. This is a limited time offer not available in stores. Call right now.
7-0, our score here. Charlie Neal, along with Jay Walker, Carlos McCormick at the Battle of the Border. Great day for football in Greensboro. Next Saturday, you can follow these Aggies to the first round of the NCAA Division I AA Championship right here on NBC Sports. Jay and I will be wherever they are. We'll find out on Sunday after the announcement is made by the committee. The question is, will Aggie pride reign supreme? Well, you can catch the game next Saturday right here on NBC. Check the network website for game time.
And going back to the playoffs, Charlie.
Yes.
You talk about every series counts, boy. Nothing like that playoff atmosphere.
It certainly isn't. First down gained on the ground by the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. Carl Scriven on the carry. Great run by Scriven.
Yeah, and Scriven's one of the guys from South Carolina, so this border war means a lot to him. And watch him do a good job of, once he gets past the initial line of scrimmage, of running the football hard upfield. And that's just what you want, some good, hard, straight up the field running. And that's what Scriven brings to this A&T Aggie attack.
All the way into South Carolina State territory. Here's Scriven again, trying to turn the corner. Gets to the 40, and he's dropped, but a 5-yard gain. And it'll be 2nd down and 5. Carl Scriven. Scriven out of Columbia, as you said. He's from Pikeville College. Comes into the game with 10 touchdowns rushing. 4 came against Norfolk State earlier this year. He's ranked 4th in the conference in scoring.
Yeah, he knows how to touch pay dirt. And you need to have one of those guys on your team that, you know, if you get the ball close to the end zone, you hand it off to him, and he'll find a way to punch it in the end zone. And that's what Carl Scriven is for the Aggies.
Second back in the eye behind Thompson. J.J. Thompson, fullback. Here's a quick pass for a 1st down on to Doug Brown out in the flat. And Doug Brown gets it to the 35, and that's enough for a 1st down for the Aggies.
Taking advantage of the one-on-one coverage on the outside, and Doug Brown's got something here, and this is just one of those little hitch routes. Take 4 steps upfield, turn around, put the ball right on him. Good throw and a good catch, and all you're trying to do is just move the sticks to get the 1st down. And I think Watkins is starting to settle down a little bit. He was a little shaky early on. We saw the quarterback-center exchange, and after those big plays, he settled down and starting to get into a rhythm.
He got his first start against Delaware State a couple weeks ago. He had 4 relief appearances throughout the season. Big number 92, DeLorean Shaw, had a hand on Scriven for a moment, slowed him down enough to get some help from the rest of the defense. There's DeLorean.
Anytime you talk about good defense against runs, it all starts with the D-line. And DeLorean Shaw is showing you that right there, what a good defensive lineman can do against a good team that runs the football. If your D-line comes to play, Shaw, Brigman, and Kinlock, and those guys have a good game, then A&T's in trouble.
Gain of 1, it'll be 2nd and 9. We're in the 2nd quarter. Under 11.5 to go. Quick drop. Little fade. Man is wide open. Defender fell down, and they just could not connect. That would have been 6. It could have been 6, as Jamal Jones was all by himself.
Yeah, and I like the way they set it up. We saw them complete the same pass, the little hitch, and then watch the hitch and go. And he got there, and the defensive back, they could have caught that penalty flag there. They didn't. But he threw the ball out of bounds. And when you throw the ball out of bounds, the referee's going to keep that flag in his pocket there. But the hitch go move, and they set it up nicely. You saw the completion on the hitch, and they come back with the hitch go, going for the home run. I like the scouting. I like the game plan that the Aggies used.
DeWitt Ellaby was the senior that got beat on the play. It's 3rd down and 9 for the Aggies at the 33-yard line of South Carolina State. They come with the blitz again. Here's a long pass, a fade. And we got a flag. Let's see if it's offensive. It may be offensive. Kenny Perry came down with it, but it could be offensive pass interference.
It definitely can't be defensive pass interference, because the defender didn't even get an opportunity to jump for the football. But we've seen stranger calls before, haven't we, Charlie?
Now do we have 2 flags? I see another official coming in. That is offensive pass interference against Kenny Perry, of course. They have to take that penalty, because if you refuse it, it's a touchdown.
It's a touchdown.
Offensive pass interference, number 80, 15-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
So rather than 3rd down and 9, it'll be 3rd and 24.
This is one of those balls where he just threw it up for grabs, and you see right there, Perry's all over Kinley. Justin Kinley there didn't even allow Justin Kinley an opportunity to jump for the ball. And this is one of those underthrown footballs, and toughest pass in football to defend is an underthrown football, and Perry just pushed him a little bit too much there. Kinley had already lost his whereabouts, but I think
had he kept his hands off of it, he probably would have been all right, because like you said, Kinley had no idea where the ball was.
Yeah, but Perry made sure that Kinley wasn't going to go up for that ball there.
3rd and 24 is what it is now for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. Their deepest penetration was to the 32 of South Carolina State. They tried a 49-yard field goal, which fell way short. Now here's 3rd and 24. They have to get to the 25-yard line for a 1st down. Quarterback. He's going to play with the defense a little bit. Now he lets it go, man. Wide open. Intercepted. Here we go.
He's gone.
Ellaby. He's going to take it to the house. He's at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, South Carolina State.
You know, Rico Watkins got away with breaking some rules earlier, but as a quarterback, you don't go from one side of the field and try to throw the football all the way back across the other side of the field. They teach you that in the high school level. He went back to it and got away with it early in the game, but this time it cost him a 75-yard touchdown for South Carolina State.
Ellaby with the interception return, his second interception of the season, only his second. He made it a big one. And for the senior, that's a good way to go out.
Yeah, and you know, the key thing about it was I like how he timed it up. You know, it wasn't a matter of getting there too soon, flashing in front of the wide receiver so the wide receiver could come and push him from the back. He timed it up perfectly. He went on the offensive and just jumped in front of the wide receiver there. The wide receiver didn't even know he was coming, turned on the jets, and didn't even taunt and showboat like we've been seeing so much this year. Typically, a cornerback gets an interception that long, the last 20 yards are all about the showboat. Ellaby did a good job of keeping his poise and keeping his calm and just, hey, I made a big play I'm supposed to. That's what you're supposed to do as a senior. Good leadership by DeWitt Ellaby.
2 turnovers have led to 13 points for South Carolina State today. The first one was a fumble on the second possession by the Aggies at their own 45, in which South Carolina State turned into 6. And now for the point after. For South Carolina State, Mike Gadsden. Gadsden takes it up, and it is good, and it's 14-0. So turnovers have hurt the Aggies, and they find themselves down 2 touchdowns here in the second quarter.
Yeah, you see, once he starts to look, and he's gonna go down here, and once he goes and he stumbles a little bit, but trying to throw the ball all the way across the field here, Ellaby times it up perfectly. And once he does that there, all the offense is seeing what we call tailbone and elbow. That's all you're doing, watching from behind him, watching him just take off running. I like the effort there by the big defensive lineman. Look at Ellaby here. He's here. The play's broken down. It's all the way away from him. And then you'll see Jamal Jones come back, and he's doing what he's taught. Come back to the quarterback. Come back to the quarterback. But he forgot that Mr. Ellaby was right there behind him. Great job of anticipating and timing up the interception there. Defensive back, that's a special play. Good DB just makes a knockdown. Great DB takes it to the house.
Remember early on that drive, he fell down. He got beaten, which could have been 6 had they thrown the ball, but instead he redeemed himself with that great big INT, returning it 75 yards, the biggest of his career.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest of a lot of defensive backs' career. You don't get those 75 INTs. You only get one opportunity for those once in your whole career. And when it comes, you have to make the most of it, and he did there.
You know, one of the things the Aggies were talking about how happy they were and to have such a great season because they used to be on everybody else's highlight film, especially after last season.
Yeah, they were everybody's homecoming guest for a little while, too. Everybody was, oh, we got homecoming coming up, well, let's play A&T. Oh, we got homecoming, well, let's play A&T. Well, they'll be the homecoming guest no time soon, but they got to focus, and I'm telling you, if they haven't been there, if they play this type of game in the playoffs, it'll be 35-0 at halftime.
Hinton on the return. Here's Brad Hinton down the left sideline. Well, it started out with Brad Hinton, and now it is Wright. And Wright takes it to the house. Boy, what a return that was.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a little Aggie pride right there. A little Aggie pride. Aggies don't die. They just keep coming back. You're down 14-0 to your rival. Come back, show some pride about yourself, and pull out a little special teams play for you. A little trickaroo on the reverse kickoff return.
85 yards on the kickoff return for the Aggies, and they're right back into it. And that's a linebacker, Wright, who they gave the ball to. It came down originally in the hands of Brad Hinton. Brad Hinton gives off to Wright. Wright, the linebacker. Boy, linebackers don't get a chance to do that. And I'll tell you, the fact that he's a linebacker and he needs oxygen. They're going to put him in the witness protection program.
And I'm going to tell you, that's almost like cheating. You can't get a ball to a linebacker. It's football. Kickoff returns. Put the wide receivers or the defensive backs back there. They gave the ball to the linebacker. That's cheating. I'm going to report Coach Small to Commissioner Thomas in the MEAC office. We got to talk about that. You at least got to make him change his number or call linebacker eligible on special teams or something like that. But I guarantee you that young man played running back sometime in his career, maybe in high school, but it was a fantastic run because even when he got touched, he didn't go down. He ran through that.
He needs oxygen.
Oh, he needs a whole lot of it.
Here's Yannick Matthews on for the point after to pull his team to within 7. Just when all hope looked lost, and I should shouldn't say lost, but at least down 14. All you need is some special play like they just had, and he splits the uprights to make it a 14-7 ball game with 10:36. And what an exciting ball game this has been. The highest scoring series, as you look at here. Here's Brad Hinton starting out with the football, and he gives off to right.
And he did a good job of selling the ball like he was going to run it. Didn't telegraph the reverse right away. And once my man got the ball on the sideline, Wright got the ball there. Watch him run through it and cut, and he's going to start to protect it, and he's going to keep running hard and just good hard running to pull his legs through there. And look at that brigade of block that he has there. That's a good job.
The president didn't have an escort like that.
Yeah, that was a good job there. Once he had that, go over there and throw some water and some Gatorade on that brigade of blockers you had there, because anytime special teams touchdowns occur, it's because it was a team effort.
Junior out of Lynchburg, Virginia.
I thought this was a little border war between North and South Carolina. I didn't know we were going to see any foreigners. Did they allow foreigners in this battle here?
They got a little foreigner in there. And Montoya Wright. Wright with the 85-yard kickoff return. He's a reserve special teams player.
And look at this right here, Charlie. Where'd this come from? You got a little skyline down here in Charlotte, one of the growing gyms of the South.
Certainly is. They're going to build a new basketball arena. They had an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for too much celebration in the end zone. And so they're going to be penalized 15 yards. They'll be kicking from their 20 instead of the 35.
Yeah, and right here, this little crane you see right there, that's where the basketball arena is coming to that you alluded to.
Yeah.
We got to make a good wish to our buddy over there.
Bob Johnson
and
Bernie Bickerstaff and Eddie Tapscott, those guys, the Charlotte Bobcats will start play here in the 2004-2005 season.
Yeah, Coach Bickerstaff, you're going to miss your broadcast buddy, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. He's a general manager and coach, but we wish him well. Putting that team together right now. This is going to come down to the Bulldogs. Trevin Smith, who had nowhere to run, down at the 29-yard line. Let's go down to Carlos McCormick.
Joining me now is the president of South Carolina State University, Dr. Andrew Guinea.
Did a good job.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate
it.
You just started the job in July. Talk a little bit about your vision for the university.
Well, our vision obviously is to have this to be the very best university in the country. When you hear South Carolina State University, you will hear excellence. You hear the institution that produces the greatest number of African-American leaders in this country. That's our vision for the university.
Now, I was doing some research on the university. You went to South Carolina State. Your interim athletic director also graduated from South Carolina State, and Coach Pugh also a graduate.
That's correct. We are all graduates of the university. We have a love for the university, a commitment to the university. We want to give back, but we are there because we are capable and doing the job that we're doing. Not because we're graduates, but because we're good at that. You can see what Coach Pugh has done with this team. Charlene is doing an excellent job, and hopefully, and the jury's probably still out on me, but I think we're going to be okay as well.
Now, I'm a high school senior looking at colleges. Why should I look at South Carolina State?
The reason you should look at South Carolina State University is because of the programs we offer, the environment that we offer. We are a loving institution. We provide for the caring and the nurturing. It's more than just simply the academics. It's the kind of institution where you can grow and mature into be what you need to be.
Thanks a lot and enjoy the game. Back up to you guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Doc was a graduate of South Carolina State back in 1971, and before becoming president had served in some other positions at State, including Assistant Vice President of Academic Affairs, and we wish him well. He spoke of Charlene. He's talking about Charlene Johnson, who's the athletic director down at South Carolina State. As we saw Deshaun Baker get the carry, freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina. It is a third down after 5 straight incompletions there for McCampbell. We get a flag, probably holding unless it's a face mask.
Yeah, I think the defensive pressure got to McCampbell, and they got to him a little too close because they grabbed his face mask there. An unfortunate penalty for them. Oh, they called a personal foul, face mask.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that means they didn't let go of it, huh?
The umpire threw the flag.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask. Number 43 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that is on Shamar Milton, the linebacker out of Greensboro, North Carolina. So it just negated a great defensive play by South Carolina State.
Yeah, I mean, look at these linebackers. I told you they got a great linebacker core. They're all over the football. McCampbell thinks he's getting away from there, but you got another linebacker waiting for you. And the thing about the 3-4 defense, when you have 4 linebackers that are very athletic and can move, just when you think you see a hole that's going to be filled by a defensive lineman, that hole's being filled by a linebacker who's a lot quicker. Not stronger, but a lot quicker. And the way these A&T Aggie linebackers fly over the ball, the running lane's not really going to be there long.
18 different receivers have caught passes for South Carolina State this year. They keep it on the ground with Baker going straight ahead, and Baker gets good yardage, about 8 or 9, all the way up, or down to, I should say, the 46-yard line of North Carolina A&T.
And Coach Pugh, the offensive coordinator for South Carolina State, he's being stubborn right now. He's keeping with this 3- and 4 wide receiver set, saying, until you guys come out of it, I'm going to continue to run the football. So he's spreading them out by formation to run the ball. Passing team spreads out to throw the ball. He's spreading it out to run the ball.
And here's the pass, first time they've completed one. Here's Tavares Morgan, breaks the tackle and runs out of bounds, but the first completion after 5 straight incompletions by Reese McCampbell.
Yeah, and Coach Pugh won that chess match. You know, he saw that he was spreading them out to run the ball, and the moment A&T decided to bring a little pressure and bring an extra guy to the box, he can get the ball in a one-on-one situation to his playmaker, Morgan here. And Morgan's going to make the first guy misses. He goes in the shadows to help him shake a couple guys, but that's what you do there. The moment you make them break in and give in and move that extra guy, give me one-on-one, throw the football.
Sean Baker, the lone setback. Baker is the only out-of-state player signed last year by South Carolina State. It cost them more money to sign out-of-state players in South Carolina. Here's Morgan, and Morgan, after a short gain of about 4 yards, down to the 31-yard line.
And they're on the same page now. You know, you see that Morgan is telling him, he's telling the quarterback as he makes his 68 reception there and breaks the school record there. He's telling the quarterback it's one-on-one, and I see the blitz coming, check out of the play, and they're doing hand signals, and head tap means that this guy over me, I think, is blitzing. Let me go find a soft spot, and that's what he's doing. Tavares Morgan has picked up this passing game.
Came in with 63 catches. He has 5 today so far. That's 68 for the season. Second down and 6 is Deshaun Baker. Baker to the 30, maybe to 29, and 6 white jerseys wrap him up. And we came into the game, we talked about McCampbell. He needed 3 completions to break his own record of completions in a season, which was 127. He's already done that. He needed 9 attempts to become the season's attempts leader. He's already done that.
So he's done good. We'll go back to what you talked about, saying the state has to start recruiting that in-state talent. We're kind of going to the old Bill Hayes rules in North Carolina A&T. You know, he had for all those years just to recruit Carolina. And the one exception you get is the District of Columbia. D.C. residents are considered state residents all over the country.
That's right. McCampbell batted in the air. Morgan alertly comes up with it, even though they gained nothing. He saved a possible INT.
He definitely did. You know, he's just like glue. Anytime the ball's in his area, he's going to find a way to catch it. This ball is tipped, should be knocked down, but when you got a guy like Morgan that just likes to make plays, it's incredible how ball players make big plays when you don't even call for it.
Now we have another 4th down facing South Carolina State. They're going to go for it. 4th and about 4.
I'd watch this guy right here. That's Tavares Morgan in the slot.
McCampbell. Too big. Incomplete. Turn it over on down. It'll be A&T's ball. Morgan, the intended receiver. Timeout on the field. 7 minutes to go. We're here in the first half of play. A 7-point ball game. Bulldogs on top. Well, one of the things we know is that South Carolina State barbecue, South Carolina barbecue and North Carolina barbecue. Listen to the.
It's made special in South Carolina from South Carolina State Bulldogs. That's the only way that the Bulldogs will win. When they taste a little bit of this, they will tear those Aggies up.
That's good. Between the North Carolina barbecue and the South Carolina barbecue, in South Carolina try to take our ideals and profit off of it. But North Carolina, everyone knows that's the #1 barbecue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. They say North Carolina has the best barbecue between the two. I don't, I've never
with them earlier.
I don't know. I've never eaten South Carolina barbecue.
I have. That's that mustard-based barbecue I'm telling you about. North Carolina is the vinegar-based barbecue, and North Carolina. Me, I'm hooked on that mustard-based barbecue. When I first tried it, I said this can't be real. And I tried it and was like, this is good. And the vinegar in the barbecue just threw me for a loop. I'm a West Coast guy, so I'm used to that Texas barbecue. But even the vinegar-based barbecue, it ain't all that bad. It grows on you, Charlie. It grows. But you travel all over the place. I figured you would be a barbecue connoisseur, but I'll take that title. I've got the weight that shows it and reflects it. You stay nice and lean and trim.
You saw a shot of Buddy Pugh, second year. He was an assistant at South Carolina State under Willie Jeffries for 19 years before leaving to go to the University of South Carolina with Lou Holtz as an assistant. As you see Scriven turning the corner. And then he came back to his alma mater to take over. Buddy Pugh there.
And if he gets this victory here, I mean, what a job just to get 8 wins. He brought them back for a while, and last year they had some success, and they're trying to get better. And if they keep improving at that pace, they're going to be one of the upper echelon teams in the MEAC conference. And that's my man right there. That's Coy right there. You know what Coy is? That's Coach of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
MEAC conference. I mean, I'm sure he's already clinched that. And Coach Small coming in first year getting Coach of the Year. New infusion of young coaches and talent in the MEAC conference.
Fumble. Almost a fumble. On the carry. We're seeing Dunn getting some action. Here's number 2 looking at his hands. it did pop out. Marcus Dunn.
And Coach Ball obviously can't be too pleased with the 2 punts or 2 turnovers and the missed field goals. Doesn't have a lot to show for it, but the special teams picked it up, and this is a learning experience, and maybe they needed this going into the playoffs, because every now and then you get on a winning streak and you start believing all the headlines and you forget what got you there.
That's right. You got to stay with the basics. Here's a pitch to Dunn, trying the right side, turns the corner, trying to get to the first down marker. That was a first down play. That was a 1st and 10. He picks up about 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Let's talk about how this A&T team got here. They started the season with 2 wins, 25-0 over North Carolina Central in the Aggie Eagle Classic. Then they beat Jackson State 10-7 in overtime. They lost to Southern then out in Las Vegas 35-16. Since then, they've been perfect. They beat Elon, Norfolk State, Morgan, FAMU, Howard, Bethune, Delaware State, and Hampton. That's the way to run the table.
Wow, they forgot how to lose somewhere in that stretch. That's what happens. Did. You forget how to lose.
Want a reverse. Coming back to this side. Plenty of room. Good field blocking. And down and out of bounds. It was a great run that time by Brad Hinton on the reverse. And Brad Hinton picks up great yards all the way down to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, and that was a good job of everybody doing their job. You're going to see the misdirection come this way, and then Hinton's going to come around this way. And look at the blocks he's going to get. You're going to see a block go by there, and all the good blockers there for him. That was beautifully designed and beautifully executed. I don't know if you can draw it up one way, but I don't know if you can execute it any better than they just did.
The only thing they could have done better was score. It was a 24-yard run, and it's good for a 1st down into South Carolina State territory at the 32. Marcus Dunn, the lone setback behind the quarterback, Rico Watkins. Watkins wants to throw it. Quick pass, incomplete. Threw it behind the receiver. It was supposed to be a quick stop out pass, and it was intended for Brandon Trusty.
And I like Watkins. I think he has a lot of athleticism, a little bit raw, but a couple things you have to learn to do is you take a 3-step drop. It's 1, 2, 3, and get rid of that football. You take that hitch in there on that 3rd step, you're in trouble. Nothing but bad things can happen. Interception, or you get your wide receiver broke up like he did there.
Talking about the other quarterbacks and quarterback by committee by the Aggies, Marshall Glenn, a young man from East Mecklenburg High right here in Charlotte, banged up knee, had played most of the season for them, started 7 games as we get some movement up front. Randall Rankins was the other kid out of Ahoskie, North Carolina, who more was an option player, had his first start against Norfolk State. So they can play 3 good quarterbacks. They have a lot of running backs.
False start, number 79 offense. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
Offensive lineman moving a little bit prematurely for the Aggies is Terry Jones, junior out of New Bern, North Carolina. As you look at Marshall Glenn over on the sideline, there's a young man who was a sophomore, and he's in front of the home. He's hoping to get in there. Coach is trying to save him a little bit because he's had a bad knee. He was the #2 quarterback in the state of North Carolina coming out of East Mecklenburg High behind Chris Leak. That's not a bad.
That's great company to be in. Yeah, that's great company to be in.
Rico Watkins in trouble.
Fumbled it.
And it's gone. Here's Chachi Sullivan, and he'll take it back.
Give me a little
51 yards.
Give me a little cha-cha-cha. Chachi Sullivan doing a little cha-cha dance there for me. Watkins with the fumble there. You know, once you realize you're going to get sacked, you need to just go down with the football and protect that football, and they made him pay. The Bulldog defense held him up, knowing that he would try and do too much, stripped the ball from him, and Chachi Sullivan being Johnny on the spot, right man at the right place to take it back for the touchdown.
So there's the third touchdown as a result of a turnover by the Aggies of North Carolina A&T today. This one by Chachi Sullivan, and that's his first touchdown of the year. He had an interception coming in. Here's Gaston for the point after to make it 21-7. The kick is up. It is good. And that's where we stand here with 4:38 to go here in the second quarter. A 21-7 ball game. South Carolina State, the Bulldogs.
Thanks very much.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
North Carolina A&T, well, they're trying to run the table. The table's being run on them right now by way of mistakes. 21-7. Here's Chachi Sullivan.
Yeah, and he's coming from the backside all the way, and he sees the ball there. Watkins tried to pull up, and Sullivan just picked it all up in one good motion, fluid motion, didn't waste any steps going toward the sideline and took it all the way back to the house. But as a quarterback, you can't get away with rolling out and pulling up. Watch him roll up, roll out, and not realize somebody's coming from the backside. And he's got that ball hanging out there too loose. Chachi comes around, ball didn't hit the ground.
Right. He just takes it out of his hand.
You know what he said? He ran up to him and said, "Give me that." Took off running. Good old pickpocket move there by Chachi.
The second possession of the Aggies ended in a fumble. And in a few plays, the Bulldogs win the end zone. That is of South Carolina State with McCampbell's 5-yard pass to Morgan. And then on the next to the last possession, an interception return, 75 yards by Ellaby, made it 14-0, and then Sullivan's 51-yard fumble return from the 4-yard line. So get it out to the 19. That's where the Aggies will go to work. First down and 10. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, we want you to stay right in your seats. We'll have the Office Depot Battle of the Bands. First from the Aggies, you'll see the blue and gold marching machine. And then you'll see the Bulldogs of South Carolina State, the Marching 101. Be sure to catch both bands on the Office Depot halftime Battle of the Bands. Here you look at Marshall Glenn, who's coming in. We spoke of him on the last series. And there's the stats on that young man.
Ooh, take those down. Oh, that right there. 4 interceptions, 1 touchdown. He's like, can you hurry up and get past my stats so I can upgrade them, please?
Yeah. Been a little banged up with the knee, but he's going to try to rally this team here. 4:31 to go. They're down 21-7. And they keep the ball on the ground.
Trying to get the running game in there, allow Marshall Glenn an opportunity to get a feel for the game and check out the intensity level down there. But, you know, if you're Coach Small, I mean, what else could you ask for? You don't want this to happen. Offense hasn't put any points on the board. You got to have a quarterback controversy, a quarterback change going into the playoffs. Wow.
Well, he doesn't look at it. And I talked to Marshall earlier. There is no quarterback controversy here. They are very supportive of each other.
So who's the starting quarterback next week?
He feels he will be
Marshall? Wow.
It is second down. It's the left knee that's been banged up. He's rolling out to his right. Stops, throws, and it is complete for first down up to the 40-yard line. Let's go down to Carlos McCormick.
Marshall Glenn, this field he's no stranger to. He played here several games in high school, and one of the games I talked to him before the game that really stands out actually was a loss, but it was the Western Conference Regional in which he played against a star quarterback named Chris Leach, who's now at Florida, but that's his most memorable game on this field. He's right here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
East Mecklenburg High, where he hails from. 16-yard gain on his first pass and his first down and 10 for the Aggies at their own 43-24 left in the half. Lone setback, one back behind him. They tried to strip the ball away from Patterson. He's holding on.
Yeah, when you talk about Marshall Glenn, I mean, we mentioned that he's a sophomore. He's a true sophomore. So I remember last year when we covered him, he was a true freshman getting an opportunity to play. He's a true sophomore. So his learning curve is still high. So he came in there with a new offensive coordinator, and he had to learn it all on the go. Once he gets a steady offensive coordinator for consecutive years, we're going to see that star power that he showed us on the high school level here in North Carolina.
Last year, he came in relief against Howard, and he started ever since. To go to the left side is Frank Patterson, who cuts it back, and there's a flag downfield. Let's see what the flag is, unless it's holding downfield. Patterson has the first down. Let's see what the penalty flag is all about.
You give Coach Small a lot of credit. Even though you got a new quarterback in there and you're down by 14, no sense of urgency. Let's get one long drive. We came in here running the football. We're going to leave here running the football.
Chop block against the Aggies.
Shot block call there, and that's when you get somebody that's engaged up high and another guy comes and cuts you down.
Leave a block below the waist, number 5 on the offense. Down.
Now they'll mark this from the point of the infraction. While they're marking this off, let's go down to Carlos, who has a special guest who is a graduate of A&T.
Joining me right now is our Reverend Jesse Jackson. A standing ovation for the crowd. How does that make you feel?
It just makes my heart burst with joy. You know, to see these guys play really the best of football, and what MBC has done for us. They always could play, but they were never projected on television. You are exposing the best talent in America. We don't appreciate these guys until they're in the NFL. Many of them come from A&T and South Carolina State and play MU. This is a great day.
A&T State University. Why did you choose A&T?
Actually, at first, I received a scholarship at A&T and at South Carolina State. I received one at the University of Illinois. At that time, some of us were trying to break through out of the segregated South. I thought this was 59, 5 years before the political accommodation bill. We were trying to break out. I got to Illinois, and the joy wasn't there, and the support wasn't there. And I went back to A&T, and I stayed there for the rest of my career. And I got there, what was impressive is that nothing a black man couldn't do. You could be president, dean, bursar, professor. And I think many of my leadership skills really came from playing football at Sterling High in Greenville and A&T, and being in an environment where there is nothing a black person cannot do. So I enjoy playing football for me, and people, I got great education there.
That last play was offensive pass interference, but talk a little bit about Coach Small and what he has meant to this university and this football team this year.
Turn the team around. It's almost miraculous, almost from 1-10 to 10-1, and that was a big statement. And he has a good attitude, and he's inheriting some players from Bill. In years to come, he's going to reestablish, I think, a great tradition of football at A&T.
This being the 40th anniversary of the Kennedy assassination, what does it mean to have college sports going on right now? What does it mean to you personally?
Man, I remember walking across that campus, going toward the Hodgson Hall, and someone said, President Kennedy just got shot. We said no. We thought that was back in the Abraham Lincoln days. That couldn't happen. But Kennedy got killed. It turned our lives upside down. But it did not stop us. It inspired us. After all, Dr. King gave the address in Washington on August 28th, 63. Kennedy was killed in November of 63. So it was a great period for time and change and growing. So the Robert Kennedy death, ultimately the Dr. King death, just made us strong and made us more determined. So you see where we are today. And that's because we did not stop and we did not turn back.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Jackson. I enjoyed the game.
And God bless Willie Garrett.
Thank you. Back to you guys.
Thank you. I'm sure Willie will appreciate that. Jesse Jackson, the big supporter of NBC and what we're doing here. Another false start, illegal procedure penalty, and that's killing the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. Ninth time they've been penalized today, 102 yards. That's just too much, and this is the first half.
Wow.
Minute 12 to go. Marshall Glenn from the shotgun has a man there, broken up. And the man who was there to break it up, Chachi Sullivan, who already has a touchdown to his credit. And we have a receiver is a little slow getting up. I believe that is Bud Phillips.
I think it is. And I always say, the first rule you look at him in terms of a quarterback is he going the right place with the football. And anytime you see two defenders with around one wide receiver, then the quarterback's not going the right place with the football. And when you don't go the right place with the football, a lot of times you can see things like this with your injuries, and they occur.
There's Marshall Glenn.
As you take a look here, you got two South Carolina State Bulldog defenders with good angles on the football there, and Chachi came over there, and it looks like he's grabbing his leg there.
That's the way he went down.
Maybe he went down when he hit that ground there, and unfortunately, the ground doesn't give. Mother Nature doesn't give. She was here a lot longer than we were, and we'll be here when we're gone.
Wednesdays on MBC Network get set for back-to-back rock. Charles Dutton stars in the hilarious sitcom centered on the life of a lovable Baltimore garbage man. It's a great hour of comedy with double rock. Wednesdays at 8 and 8:30 right here on MBC.
And seeing Reverend Jackson there on the sidelines, that brings back some good memories, because the first time I actually saw Reverend Jackson was North Carolina A&T when Howard played, and we had that memorable game there that you covered. And, when you see him on the sideline, you're like, oh, I got to bring my A game today. We got the star showing up.
That's when you ran that touchdown in overtime for a Howard win. That was part of that unbeaten season for.
And the Aggie fans here today have not let me forget about that ever since.
I'm sure they haven't. Here's a punt by Matthews. It takes an A&T bounce, and it rolls all the way down to about the 12-yard line. So Matthews comes up with a pretty good kick that time. Here's Reverend Jesse Jackson, graduate of A&T.
And it's tough when your most famous alumni knows the game of football. So he can give you some answers. You ask him how's the Coach Small doing. Well, he's doing a good job, but let's give credit to Coach Hayes for what he brought in, and he's helping resurrect the program. But when your most famous alumni knows about the game of football, you better get your ducks in a row.
Yes, indeed. And a lot of people are saying, just like John Gruden at Tampa Bay, that was Tony Dungy's team that won the Super Bowl a year ago. And a lot of people may be saying this is Bill Hayes' team because he assembled most of these players. A lot of them signed with Bill Hayes before he left, and one of them is the young man who started at quarterback today, and that is Rico Watkins. Watkins had started, signed with Bill Hayes, and then when Coach Small took over, he called Coach Small and said, hey, listen, I still want to be an Aggie. Coach Small said, well, let me look at some tape and check and see if I still want you. And he looked at it, he liked what he saw, and of course Rico Watkins is here. The rest is history. But that's but the fact of the matter is, regardless of whose team it is, who built what, they are 10-1.
10-1, and they're losing 21-7 right now in the border war.
That's going to be the end of the first half here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's been basically a Bulldog first half based on 3 turnovers and interception. In the first quarter led to a touchdown for South Carolina State. An interception in the second quarter led to a touchdown by South Carolina State, and a fumble in the second quarter led to a touchdown by South Carolina State. An interception by South Carolina State, and the Aggies unable to convert. That's that unity, that family spirit that Coach George Small brought in when he came in as the head coach of North Carolina A&T. South Carolina State has turned the tables. And 9 turnovers in their first 2 games, and in 4 losses they had 17 turnovers, but they turned the tables today, creating turnovers, and we're at halftime here in Charlotte.
1-800-717-8844. That's 1-800-717-8844.
The Battle of the Bands is brought to you by Office Depot. What you need to know. We're at halftime here in Charlotte for our Office Depot Battle of the Bands. Right now, taking the field, North Carolina A&T's blue and gold marching machine under the direction of Dr. Kenneth Ruff. Let's enjoy from Aggie Land and Aggie Pride, the blue and gold marching machine. marching machine from North Carolina A&T under the direction of Kenneth Ruff. The Golden Delight, the dancing young ladies. We'll be back. More of our Battle of the Bands from Charlotte in a moment.
Reebok, out the bomb.
As we continue with our Battle of the Bands at halftime here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina, the Marching 101 from South Carolina State under the direction of Ronald Sargent, who is retiring. Interim director is Edward Ricks. They're 200 strong, and the Champagne Dancers are the young ladies. Let's enjoy the Marching 101 from Orangeburg, South Carolina.
To provide you with some eye candy, sparkling, brilliant, and oh so fine.
Coaching 101 from South Carolina State. The Battle of the Bands was brought to you by Office Depot. What you need to know.
Retailers and get 6 months of dial-up service featuring Earthlink Accelerator at half price. Move to Earthlink. It revolves around you.
Battle of the Border. 21-7 is our halftime score here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And a great city scene here. And it's been a great football game if you're a South Carolina State Bulldog. Your thoughts on the first half, Jay?
I think the Bulldogs did everything they wanted to do. They had one slip up on special teams, but give the Aggies credit. That was a great special teams play they had, but the Bulldogs came out and dominated and showed that they feel that this is the borderline. Throw the records out the window. We came to play football today.
They certainly have turned the tables on the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. Let's check out some of the highlights from the first half. Tavares Morgan is the only member of the Bulldogs who scored a pass today. He made it a good one here, a 5-yarder from McCampbell.
Yeah, he got involved early in the passing game, and then you saw what you call that Bulldog defense. You can see it looks like a pass completion. Nope, no, it's not. DeWitt Ellerby with the 75-yard interception return for a touchdown. The earmark, the special teams play that the Bulldogs did. And then coming up more, you saw more defense. Chachi Sullivan coming up here with the strip of the quarterback, Rico Watkins, taking it to the house to give the Bulldogs 21 points.
But then the only score for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T came on a kickoff return, and here you see this young man Wright bringing it back 85 yards after Brad Hinton started the kickoff return, handed it off to him, and here you go. Mr. Wright, the linebacker, takes it to the house. He goes 85 yards for the score, and that's the only score the Aggies were able to muster in the first half. And let's check out some of the first half stats.
Yeah, you take a look at the first half stats brought to you by Geico. First downs, the Aggies were consistent in the football game, but they couldn't put the points on the football screen. You see that 10 first downs to South Carolina State 6. And then you take a look at that time of possession. That's the key. A&T had the ball for 18 minutes and 58 seconds and still only came away with 7 points in the half, and that was just off of the one big play on special teams, and turnovers are standing out. This is the team that led the MEAC in turnover margin coming into this football game. They're being outplayed on the turnover side of the ball. They've turned it over 3 times compared to just 1 for South Carolina State, and what the Bulldogs did a good job of late in the first half was every time A&T turned the football over, they found a way to make them pay by putting points on the board. The first half stats brought to you by Geico, the sensible alternative.
As we get ready to start the second half, remember the South Carolina State Bulldogs, as you look at Mr. Marshall Glenn there, who came on in relief of Rico Watkins at quarterback. South Carolina State won the toss and elected to defer to the second half, so they'll get the ball to start the second half, leading in this ball game by a score of 21-7. What do you think the Aggies talked about at halftime, Jen?
Well, they talked about we're not playing North Carolina A&T football. We're starting to get involved in the border war, and we're not doing what we do well, which is run the football, hold on to the football, and not turn it over. Those turnovers are killing them, and they got to find a way to keep the ball in their possession.
Well, I think they may have kicked it a little prematurely because I don't know if they were ready or if the officials were ready. They may bring it back. Sam Jones, our referee. This crew done a good job. Has done a good job so far this afternoon. Trevin Smith was the man who returned it.
And a quick kick by the Aggies, that's a good sign to Coach Small. You want your team anxious and hurry up and get back on the field and want to come out and erase this deficit that they're facing. So it seems like Coach Small said something to the troops to get them hyped up.
Dead ball before the kick. Substitution infraction on the kicking team. 12 players on the field. 5-yard penalty. Free kick.
So they'll kick it from the 30 after the 5-yard penalty for 12 men on the field. Let's go down to Carlos McCormick.
Talking to both coaches coming out of the locker room. Coach Small, first of all, is very upset. What he told his guys, they got to get back to playing the fundamentals. They weren't playing fundamental football there in the first half. As for Coach Pugh, very ecstatic for his defense. they held the guys scoreless, and he's real proud of that. Back to you guys.
Yeah, there's only been one offensive touchdown, Jay, and that is a result of a turnover by North Carolina A&T that South Carolina State took 45 yards and ended with the 5-yard pass. So there's been no offense really by either team today. It's been all either special teams, defense, or some kind of a turnover that's putting points on the board.
And if you're South Carolina State, you don't mind that because you're playing like you got a lead, and you got a lead. And anytime you have that lead, you want to preserve it. That's why it's ecstatic that the defense has stepped up and preserved that lead.
Goolsby at the 21-yard line for South Carolina State. Goolsby up to the 32-yard line. A pretty short return. Not bad field position to start the second half. From their own 32 is where they'll go to work.
And now what you're seeing a lot in college football is that little pooch kick. They don't want to kick it so deep because the threat of a kickoff return is just so deadly. So they're doing these little pooch kicks, let you get a 4 or 5 yard return, but we can control that, and we know you're not going to take that all the way to the house.
The average field position for South Carolina State, as you look at the stats on McCampbell in the first half, completed 6 passes all to DeVaris Morgan as they started at their own 38, their own 32, their own 4, their own 30, and their own 12. Right now they're starting at their own 34.
One of the things about South Carolina State or any going against the North Carolina A&T team, you know you're not going to get great field possession unless they turn it over, because they've got great special teams, and we saw that in the first half, and they got a great kicker and they got a great punter, so you can't expect to go into the game assuming that you're going to get great field position all the time.
No, indeed.
What's so unlike them, though, has been the turnovers that we alluded to at halftime.
McCampbell has worked basically from the shotgun all day today. Wants to go back and pass on second down. Morgan on the 7th catch of the day. And it's good for about a yard. And we talked to Coach Buddy Pugh about how he feels about this program he's put together at South Carolina State.
We like to do some of the technological kinds of things, things like do great video, because you got to not only, use video now to actually teach, but you got to use video to keep, the kids within the 20-hour rule, because you don't have a whole lot of time, to stand around. So you got to do some things to make that thing, work for you. And then I think just as a whole, I think this program will continue to do the kinds of things that the better Division I programs in the country, will do. And then at that point, then we'll see where we are.
Well, it'll work. Rodriguez Darby could have been the only other player to catch a pass today from McCampbell, and he just dropped the ball wide open for a first down.
Yeah, and that's why quarterbacks like going to their go-to receivers. Darby was wide open in the flat, second level throw, ball hit him right between the numbers. He's got to come down with that to keep the drive alive, because we know Morgan wouldn't have dropped that because he catches everything.
Only the third punt of the day for South Carolina State, Corey Brandenburg, and he gets roughed. So they said it was blocked. So he got hit, but it was blocked, and he's a little slow getting up. And
that's our man Wright.
Wright, the man who scored the touchdown on the special teams. He's a little slow getting up. And Brandenburg was the man who got off a pretty good punt. 32 yards after being partially blocked.
Yeah, and he's made a couple key punts today. I mean, earlier in the game, he could have easily had one blocked in the end zone. He picked it up and avoided it and got off like a 40-something yard punt in the heat of all that pressure. Look at this good pressure coming up the middle there, and they blocked the ball, and that's why the kicker took a lick, and they didn't call it on him. He got a hand up the all, and right there you saw his leg just kind of switch and buckle. Right. So he was the guy that got a hand on that ball.
There's a timeout on the field, 13:34 of the time remaining, third quarter. 21-7, South Carolina State.
60-1848. Call right now. It will make a difference.
Talked about in the first half how the Aggies went 10-1, how the Bulldogs got here. They lost their first 2 games of the season to Tennessee State and to Wofford. And then they reeled off wins against Morgan, Savannah State, Benedict, and Norfolk before losing 2 in a row to Bethune and Hampton. They won their last 3, beating Delaware State, Howard, and Florida A&M. First down and 10 for the Aggies. First possession of them, Rico Watkins back in at quarterback. He started the game, and he's back in to start the second half for North Carolina A&T. After about a 4-yard gain on the running play, straight into the line. There you see Rico Watkins out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Said he calls his mom after each game, let her know the progress. Family a long way away. It's hard for them to see him. Except for watching him here on NBC.
I'll say, won't have to use the telephone this week. Save yourself some money, young man. Have her call a local cable operator and provider. Check out NBC, which I'm sure she already has.
Second down, 6. And Scriven run out of bounds in front of his own bench.
Good job by the Bulldog defense of stretching that outside run. Anytime an offense runs a play like that, they try and stretch it as close to the sideline as they can. The Bulldogs stretch the ball all the way out to the sideline.
That'll be a third down. Third and about 1. Third down. Scriven, the second back in the eye. Ernest Hodge is the up back. They're 1 of 7 in third downs today. That is A&T. And they may not have gotten it now, depending on where they spot the ball. It's going to be very, very close. Spotted right at the 42. He had to get to the 42. And let's see if it's where the nose of the ball is. And I think Sam Jones wants a measurement. He's not that sure.
Oh, football could be a game of yards. It also could be a game of inches, in some cases, centimeters.
This game was a shootout. Back in 1993, 10 years ago, the final score was 58-52. South Carolina State won it.
And that's what happens. Every now and then you just got to go with the tempo of the game. And that was back when those teams like to run the football. So it was a whole lot of rushing yards that day. And I'm sure some great running backs had something to do with that.
Well, the series history favors South Carolina State 21-17-2. South Carolina State has won the last 2 meetings. The last 10 years it's been A&T with the edge, 7-3. On neutral sites, A&T has a 4-3 advantage. Last met in this battle of the border last year in the Georgia Dome down in Atlanta, 26-9. It's 4th and inches for the Aggies. And I think Coach George Small is going to go for it. He's making a statement right here with this play. Quarterback keeps it. I don't think he got it.
He delayed.
He sure did. If he'd have just went straight ahead, he'd have had the first down with ease, but I think he may have lost a half a yard.
Yeah, I mean, he delayed. You're a big quarterback. Watkins is 6'6", 210 pounds. Just get behind the offensive tackles. You got 330-pound guards. Out of ran right behind Chris Gates, but by him trying to do too much, taking a half a second to pause before he went forward. You're the only one that knows the snap count.
He's trying to look where he wants to go. You don't have time to look where you want to go in those situations.
No, and you got to be leaning before you even get the snap, because your center's going to go forward naturally right away. And as a quarterback, you have to be going forward with him. Why he took a step back, I have no idea. Take a look here. He's going to take a step back. The whole line is going to surge, and he paused and went sideways for a step there. This makes no sense. You only needed less than a half of a foot.
It looks like he got a good general spot, though.
It was generous. It was very generous.
George Small looking on in anticipation. He got it somehow.
Stop.
I don't believe
it. Can you say that's what it's called, about getting that right spot, and every now and then take everything we say and throw it out the window? They saw something down there on the field. Play ball.
So it is a first down for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. They keep their drive alive here. Yannick Matthews had to kick 3 field goals a year ago to help the Aggies win it. Yannick Matthews kicked 3 field goals, and it wasn't enough. 26-9 as the Aggies lost. That was the only scoring by the Aggies a year ago, I should have said.
And that was a tough one there, because they were having a down season as it was. And, in order to do it, and we got some highlights here. The Bulldogs were in the house, weren't they, Charles?
Oh yeah, it was a great game a year ago at the Georgia Dome, and there's pass completion, and this one will take it in for a touchdown. Well, yep, Scott just beats the defender to the pylon. 26-9 was the final, as I said. Matthews accounted for all the scoring for the Aggies with 3 field goals. There's a fade pattern looking for Jamal Jones. Almost a great catch by Jamal Jones, but great defense by Justin Kinley to make sure it didn't go complete.
Yeah, Kinley played good defense, but not realizing that the ball was in the air. He knew he was beat, so he was in pursuit mode. You see here, he's beat by at least 3 yards, and he's just running to try and catch up to him. He doesn't even know the ball's coming, and Jamal Jones almost came down with that football trying to make a spectacular catch. But you got to wonder, hey, Rico, get that ball out there. You're a big kid, you're 6'6", you got a gun. Throw that ball out there. You don't want to underthrow a wide receiver when he's got the defensive back beat by 4 yards plus. You got to hit that pass.
1 of 8 in third down conversions. That is the Aggies today. There's Justin Kinley, his stats on him. 11:10 to go, third quarter. Blitz looking like they're setting up a screen. It was tipped, and it's dropped.
As a quarterback, you got to take the challenge. 3rd down and 8. Throw the ball. Let's not go for a screen pass. I want you to have confidence in me. And you take a look at number 98 here. He does a good job of beating his defender and then realizing it's a screen pass and show a little athleticism. You don't expect the big fellas to have hops like that, but he did a good job of just getting a fingernail on that ball, and that's what broke up the timing of that screen pass.
Patterson was the man who had the ball in his hands and couldn't hold on as Yannick Matthews goes back to punt.
Look out
again. And it is blocked, and it is picked up this time. On the return for South Carolina State is Moses Manurin. And Manurin, a reserve receiver, tight end, takes it in for 6.
You know, they're getting away with it in special teams.
37 yards.
You got to play a complete game. The special team scored a touchdown. Your special team just cost you a touchdown. You have to be a consistent football team in order to advance and do the things that Coach Small wants to see. So take a look here, and he does a good job. This ball was going to be blocked initially right off the jump, and he tried to find a spot to get the football off, and a good job of getting a hand on the block, and Moses Manurin picked it up, and he was gone. You're not going to catch a wide receiver with an open field like that.
And here for the point after, Mike Gatson, who's been perfect so far this afternoon in PATs. This one is no exception, and we make it a 28-7 ball game. Have you ever seen a ball game like this with everything being special teams or defense scoring all the points?
Yeah, not that I was a part of, because offensively I had too much pride to let that happen. But yeah, I mean, it's a game of football, and you never know what's going to happen on any given Saturday. That's why you got to lace it up and play the football game, and it's so unpredictable, and that's why we love it. That's why we love black college football. You never know what you're going to get.
That's the first time this year that Yannick Matthews has had a punt block, and it was a costly one.
But the good thing about it is you could say, well, we're getting all this stuff out of our system now.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
They don't want it next week.
Yeah, but my question is, here's the thing. Why is Rico Watkins in the game if Marshall Glynn's going to be your quarterback in the playoffs? So I think what he's trying to do is he wants Watkins to be the guy to be the starter that got him the win in all those key, clutch, crucial MEAC games. He's trying to help Watkins build some confidence, but Watkins is not helping his cause with the mistakes he's having. And as a quarterback, we like to say Watkins just having a bad day at the office so far in this football game.
Well, you know, I mean, you can't fault him for that particular block. You can't fault him for, but he did have a fumble and a couple of interceptions.
Yeah, and I can fault him for their lack of conversions on 3rd down. And as a quarterback, that's what you're judged by. How do you convert and move the sticks in 3rd down opportunities? Because if you don't get it on 3rd down, you're giving the football up.
Are they happy? Are they?
Bulldogs said, we told you mustard base was better than vinegar-based barbecue.
This will not be run out. Touch back. It'll be brought out to the 20-yard line as Brad Hinton was the man who fielded it, which, as our Geico trivia question this week, which former Aggie holds the MEAC single-game rushing record? We'll have the answer for you in a moment. In the meantime, now to be eligible, we want you to log on to our website at www.mbcnetwork.com, and you could be eligible for a sports prize package. First down and 10 for the Aggies of A&T from their own 20. They've run into a buzzsaw here. And Watkins is still in at quarterback. Now he's going to take off and run. He's brought down by one hand. And it's Lucas who comes up with the stop defensively. That's Cody Lucas out of York, South Carolina.
And Lucas was just a man that was not going to be denied. He beats his guy on the inside blitz and then takes him down. Outside linebacker coming on a blitz. He beat the running back in the backfield and still see him. Take a look at Cody Lucas right here. He's going to swim move his offensive lineman and then keep his eyes on the quarterback, knowing where he was at all times. That's how you blitz from the linebacker spot. Good job by Cody Lucas.
This is a second down after a loss of 3. Second and 13. Blitz coming.
What are you looking at, son? I don't like to sit here and play quarterback from up here in the booth, but when you know they're bringing 4 people a week, somebody's coming in there unaccounted for.
I saw it.
I'm
sure he should have seen it.
You got to see it. They're coming from here. Somebody's going to come free. You only got 2 blockers to block 3 guys, and he's a left-handed quarterback, so that's right there in his face. So they're challenging him, and we know that they're going to blitz him for the rest of this football game. You got to see that, and what that's called at the quarterback level is knowing your protection. Who's got who? In that case, Rico Watkins didn't know his quarterback blocking protection.
Some more yards lost on the play, so it's third down. Third and about 20. (28-7) score. And we're going to get a penalty, probably delay a game. This play clock ran out. So it'll be third and 25.
Quarter snap, dead ball, delay. Number 15 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
And that delay call there, that's one of those things where that's between the quarterback and the coach. And you know, one of my old coaches, Bill Parcells, the only penalty, he was in the press this week saying, the only penalty that I'll take responsibility for is delayed games. I got to get the play in there a whole lot quicker in the defensive scheme there. I'm not taking credit for holding and offside. Those are the players. But as a coach and a quarterback, we take responsibility for delayed games.
5 of 14. Rico Watkins, an interception, 2 fumbles. Not a great day for that quarterback. On third and 25 right now with under 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. He's standing in his own end zone. Steps up. Now he lets one go down the near sideline, and it is incomplete. And now a late flag comes in. It was Phillips who was the receiver. A late flag comes in. Let's see what we have.
You know, that interception there, coach isn't upset with you there because even if they would have picked it off, that probably would be better than that punt. Quarterback can throw a ball 50 yards downfield. Punter's average somewhere in the 40. So that's one of those times where you get that interception. If it would have showed up on the stat, you would have been mad. I like the call there. Take a deep shot and let them intercept the ball.
The field judge threw the flag. Let's see. He's explaining what he had. Sam Jones, our referee. Sam is asking him, what do you have? And he's going to explain it to us.
We have sideline warning against North Carolina A&T. No penalty will be enforced at this time.
And George Small in on the conversation.
Yeah, you know, you got the 2 bodies just colliding with each other there. Now, that's a sideline warning there. They're saying you can't be within 2-yard line of scrimmage. You got a line here in college football goes
that's a
that
line
way.
of scrimmage. You need a sideline.
On the sideline. You have to have room for them to play, and you can't be within that 3.5-yard cushion there.
So a punting situation, and a terrible punt this time for Yannick Matthews. Not a good one at all as the ball goes out and gives South Carolina State great field position at the 32-yard line. 28-yard punt. That's all it is.
Yeah, and this is one of those possessions now where South Carolina State can capitalize and put some points on the board to make this a 4-score deficit rather than just a 3 right now. You got to wonder if Coach Small starts to pull some people out of the game. And I can tell you one thing about Coach Pugh. He's not easing off that gas pedal.
No, he isn't.
He's going to keep it going. And
keep it metal to the pedal.
And he's got guys
pedal to the metal.
Pedal to the metal like you drive on the freeway.
Yeah.
And he's got guys playing for those jobs next year.
First down and 10. Great field position at the A&T 33-yard line for South Carolina State. Best field position they started in today. Previous best was the 45 as Cody Martin struggles down to the 28.
Yeah, and that's what I like about Cody Martin. We've seen him, and at times he shows some greatness to be one of those elite backs. And his vision he had in finding the cutback lane is probably second to none. Good job of play that was designed to be a run left and cutting back to the right, getting that positive yardage for a 5-yard gain.
In the first half, deepest penetration other than the touchdown that they scored was to the 29, and they turned it over on downs. This will be a 2nd down and about 5 play. Cody Martin again gets the call. Stopped at the 30, loses maybe a yard or 2.
You can't go to the well but once. That's the game of football. You do one thing positive, the defense is going to do something to make sure that doesn't happen again. And what South Carolina State's doing is trying to pound the ball and get that running game going. But I'd like to see him get that ball. Find Tavares Morgan. I mean, A&T hasn't found an answer for him yet. Don't just give him 3rd down. Give him 2nd and 3rd down to beat you.
He's in the slot to the left. Michael King spread out far to the left side. On 3rd and long. Stepping up. McCampbell, he has the 1st down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Goes Reese McCampbell, so he did it with his legs. He had been doing it with his arms.
And that was a beautiful job there. A&T came with the blitz up the middle. Cody Martin in the backfield. Watch Cody Martin go up here and meet this guy in the line of scrimmage and pick up the blitz. And by him picking up this blitzing linebacker, making him go the other way, you see him get a body around there. McCampbell takes off upfield. That's team football, knowing your blocking assignments, and McCampbell did a good job of getting up out of that pocket when it got a little too hot in the kitchen.
1st and 10 after the 16-yard run by McCampbell. He wants to throw it. Wide open, King! Touchdown, Michael King. 4th touchdown reception of the year.
And I tell you what, right now you got the Bulldogs having a party here, and Michael King going there doing his version of the Lambeau leap going into the stands there. Wow, he climbed in there. Look at that. Don't hurt yourself,
Can't
son.
get out. They held him captive.
Michael King had a phenomenal football game, and he played great last week as well. And you always like to see seniors go out in style. And anytime as a quarterback I could find one of my wide receivers that was a senior and get him a touchdown in his last game, made the whole team feel good.
And the point after is good again. So a 33-yard drive, only the 2nd offensive drive of the day, and both resulted from great field position after a poor punt by Yannick Matthews. Gave him the ball at the 33. And here's the 14-yard pass to Michael King. McCampbell with 2 more touchdowns to his career. He has 42.
At everyday low prices.
35-7 our score. 7-11 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. And South Carolina State coming up with some big points. And here's the big touchdown.
Yeah, and this is what you got to see. This is Tavares Morgan. What happens when you get a great playmaker like him? He's going to draw the attention of here and here. Both safeties are going to jump on Morgan, and watch Michael King just slip on the inside slant route. As we run the play here, everybody's going to know where Tavares Morgan is. 2 defensive backs watching where Tavares Morgan is, leaving Michael King untouched to go into the end zone. That's what happens when you got those great playmakers. He's realizing y'all are worried about stopping me. I set y'all up. I tricked you. You forgot about my homeboy, Mr. King here.
Also forgot about Aaron Alexander, who was also over there coming from the opposite side on a quick slant. So I think he could have hit either one of those gentlemen, and finally they get it to a pass completion to someone other than Tavares Morgan. Kick deep into the end zone. It will not be brought out. It'll be brought out to the 20, and that's about where the Aggies of North Carolina A&T will start their 3rd possession of the 2nd half. They had a punt block. They had a poor punt of 28 yards to set up their last touchdown. Now they get the ball at their own 20.
You see my man up there grooving with the hat. He needs to stop. He needs to stop. But like you say, 4 plays, 33 yards, and they did most of that just on that 1 strike there. 1:28 off the clock. Michael King stepped up big for the 14-yard TD reception there. But look at the Bulldogs. They got it going. I mean, this is black college. Look at this. You got beautiful people everywhere, male and female, and everybody say, come on, homeboy. What is that? What is that? That looked like Charlie Neal dance. That's the Charlie Neal dance right there.
1st down and 10 at their own 20. Rico Watkins still in there. Lets it go. Almost intercepted. Coming up and breaking it up. Tachi Sullivan has already taken one to the house today on a fumble recovery that he brought back.
Look at that. He's got it going all right. I'm a cowboy. That's the cowboy dance, we'll call it. But I tell you what, if you're going to dance in the stands like that, at least dance with some beautiful women. So he's in the right part of the stands for that. He's smart.
He ain't crazy.
Too many times you look around the country, those Green Bay Packer fans, I could talk about them because I was a Viking. Those Packer fans dancing with each other in the stands. It's 30 degrees out there and cold, no shirts on. But at least he knows to dance with some beautiful women. I'm a little jealous.
Rico Watkins has not completed a pass since he's gotten back in this. They've thrown 7 straight incompletions. That is the Aggies. Watkins slips down trying to get loose, and he's stopped by William Oliver, who had a big game against Florida A&M a week ago. Big number 88, who plays both defensive back and wide receiver, came in to make the stop.
And it was a good thing he slipped because he was about to do something dumb again. I mean, he was rolling out to the left and was going to try and stop and create something on the right side. That wasn't going to happen there. And I know dumb is a harsh word, so don't take that wrong, Miss Watkins family there. But, you know, we saw early, you can't go on one side of the field in football and then try and go all the way back against the grain and make something happen there. So that slip helped him from doing something that didn't have good intentions behind it.
3rd and 20. Trips receivers to the right side, the bottom of your screen, and a handoff on the draw play, and nothing doing as Brigman made the stop on the running back, Carl Scriven.
Oh, what a great play by Matthew Brigman. I mean, he's the nose tackle there, and they try to run a draw, and typically on the draw, the nose tackle is going to be double teamed, and all he was able to grab was about 6 inches of the jersey of Scriven, and he brought him down just by that 6 inches, and he knows he made a good play, so I'll give my hats off to you, too. Great play there by the nose tackle, Brigman.
Yannick Matthews has been under a lot of pressure his last couple of punts. They may come and try to block this one. They've been coming, only one man back. They look like they have a block on. That is the Bulldogs of South Carolina State. Here they come. And Matthews gets off a good punt. Goolsby all the way back to the 41-yard line. Goolsby in trouble and down at midfield.
You said it. I mean, Matthews brought out the 3-wood there on that punt there. He got off a beautiful punt.
Let's go down to Carlos McCormick.
Joining me right now is the Chancellor of North Carolina A&T State University, Dr. James Rennick, and you're known as the hands-on chancellor. Talk a little bit. I heard that you actually stayed in the dorm with one of the students.
As a matter of fact, I spent a week in a residence hall, and I wanted to do that because I wanted to make sure that we connect the academic, the curricular with the co-curricular. Students are outside of the classroom more than they're inside, and if we can create learning experiences in the residence halls, then that will add to the value of their education. So that's what we've been doing. We're looking for ways to add intellectual and educational value to our students.
Now, earlier I interviewed one of your famous alumni, Reverend Jesse Jackson. What does he mean to the university?
Well, we have wonderful alums at North Carolina A&T. We have astronauts, we have elected officials, we have individuals who have run for president. So we have a wide array of very talented individuals who have graduated from North Carolina A&T, and that means a lot to the school because it shows that what an education means.
Why are HBCUs important to the community?
We continue to educate a large portion of African Americans in this country, and we educate the next generation of leaders. It's critical to the survivability of our country. It's critical to education in America, and HBCUs will always have an important role in our society.
Now, to Coach Smalls, things aren't going his way today, but what has he meant to this football program?
Coach Smalls has done a beautiful.
Well, we lost a little bit of Dr. James Rennick's interview there with Carlos McCormick. He's been a chancellor at A&T since July of 1999. In fact, the teams were champs at his first year there, 1999. So he's seeing, as they say, deja vu all over again here in 2003.
Yeah, so he knows what it's like to be on the reciprocal end of those championships. But how ironic, when things aren't going your way, they're not going your way. Talk about the university, it was great. Ask him a question about the football program. We got technical difficulties.
Mike goes out. McCampbell sacked, second time today, and the ball came loose. Let's see, the Aggies may get a break here. We haven't seen an official signal yet. We're waiting.
I haven't seen the bag come out. It happened so quick, he might not have had a chance to drop that bag to signal a fumble.
Well, the umpire's not saying it was, and neither is the line judge, and neither is our referee.
When it's that close and you got any discussion about it, you got to let the offense keep the ball out there.
Okorocha was the man who came up with the sack.
Fumble. Recovered by North Carolina A&T.
It is a fumble.
First down.
And it's recovered by North Carolina A&T.
Yeah, you know, when we take a look at this replay here, I want you to take a look at Shamar Milton. Look at the effort that he's going to have. We talk about them linebacker by committee. Watch him just shoot the gap here and come full speed. And when you tackle a quarterback real hard, they'll give it up there. And that ball did pop out. It was a great call by the officiating crew. It was a fumble before he hit the ground. But look at this. He's going to shoot that gap there, and that's how you call blitzing with bad intentions. He came in that backfield with bad intentions, and once I get my hand on you, quarterback, you're going to give me what I came there for.
Ball came out before quarterback hit the ground, so it's a break for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. They get the ball right at midfield, trailing 35-7. Keeping it on the ground with Frank Patterson, and Patterson gains about 8 yards to the 42 of South Carolina State. Patterson out of Gastonia. Hunter Huss High down there in Gastonia, North Carolina.
Coach Small doing the quarterback shuffle, bringing Marshall Glenn back into the game. And I think, you know, I give him credit. He tried to get Watkins going, but now realize this is going to be a pass and attack. He's going to go with Marshall Glenn. Must feel more comfortable with him in the passing game.
Glenn with that, been bothered by that left knee problems this year. Here's Frank Patterson. He's into the secondary. Frank Patterson cuts it back, drives down to the 21-yard line, and a first down for the Aggies of A&T.
Frank Patterson with a tremendous run shooting through the line of scrimmage there. And anytime you see runs that long, there had to be good downfield blocking. As you see Patterson come this way to make the cut back this way. And as he's doing it, take a look at the wide receivers there with the blocks. Just because they were in a position to set up the blocks allows Patterson to run to their backside shoulder. And that's what Patterson did, getting a good vision. And that's the type of stuff that they're looking for from him that allowed him to rush for over 600 yards coming into this football game.
His longest run of the year was 30. He had a 21-yard at that time, and it's first down and 10 at the 21 of South Carolina State. Marshall Glenn, who's come on in relief of Rico Watkins in this game. And here's Patterson going right. Student body left and student body right. Frank Patterson getting the call. And Drake Pooler came up to make the stop.
Yeah, we haven't called Dreek's name a whole lot today, and we thought that he was going to be the one to get this running back by committee. He did a good job of stuffing the run on that run there. But Frank Patterson, you talk about it, you know, he's just a sophomore, so they got some babies. I mean, scary thing about A&T is they're coming back.
Yeah.
They're losing Deloach and Jamal Jones and Phillips, but for the most part,
they
this
got
whole
everybody
team's
back.
coming back.
Yeah. Drake Pooler, you spoke of him against this Aggie team a year ago. He recovered a fumble for a touchdown in the end zone. Here's Frank Patterson cutting it back. Nothing doing on the left side. He tried to go on the left side, and Pooler again met him in the hole. So it's been a Pooler and Patterson show. P&P.
Yeah, you know, that's how you go at it. You know, the running backs and the linebackers, they're not supposed to get along. And when you line up and tighten up your shoes for game day as a linebacker, you know that, hey, these running backs are going to try and make me look bad. And Pooler realized Patterson broke the long run on him earlier. Drake said, that's not happening anymore on my shift.
Third down and 5. Make it, from the 20, make it to 15. Patterson, the lone setback. Randy Trusty is to the right side. Well, Perry was trying to get something, make the official call something in the end zone, but the official was not going to be duped into that.
Yeah, that's just a flat play there. When defensive coordinators play the percentages, so anytime I'm going to blitz, if I can make the quarterback settle for throwing this route here, which is nothing but a 3-step drop fade, I've done my job. You play the percentages. How often do you see completions on fade routes? Probably less than 10% of the time. So they bring the blitz. If it's a defensive coordinator, if I blitz you and I know all you're going to do is throw a fade route, I'm going to blitz you all day long.
Fourth down. They got the ball after a fumble at midfield. 1 of 1. Fourth downs today. Pass incomplete, too high for Brad Hinton on the near side. And they turn it over on downs at the 15. 35-7, our score here in Charlotte. It's been all Bulldogs.
You'll always feel safe at home with Brinks Home Security. Brinks Home Security, dedicated to fast response and peace of mind 24 hours a day. Call now.
35-7 our score here. South Carolina State over the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. Our trivia question brought to you by Geico. Which former Aggie holds the MEAC single game rushing record? Maurice Hicks did it. He rushed for an MEAC and NCAA record. That's a 1AA record, 437 yards. He did it against Morgan State back on October 6, 2001. He also scored 4 touchdowns in that game. And he rushed for a total of 1,325 yards that season and scored 15 touchdowns. That's our Geico trivia question, brought to you by Geico, the sensible alternative.
I'm glad I wasn't playing quarterback in that game. I mean, that means my stats would have been shot. He rushes for 437. Did you leave me at least 50 yards in passing on the game?
First down and 10 at their own 15-yard line. Make it to 16 is where the ball is spotted for South Carolina State. McCampbell has gone all the way at quarterback. And they keep the ball on the ground. Cody Martin out of Miami's Gainesville High.
And Cody's been slowed down, and we saw him early in the year when they played against Benedict, and we said, oh, he's going to have a phenomenal year. But you know what slowed him down? Turf toe. And if you never had turf toe, I just tell you, you never want to have turf toe. It's like barely being able to walk. And the only thing that can help out turf toe is adrenaline. And when you're feeling good and you really want to get out there, adrenaline will help you get by. But turf toe's worst enemy is halftime, because halftime it stiffens up. But Cody Martin's a great football player with good vision, and he's a game breaker as well.
Second down and 9. Going to the air. Goolsby on the near side. Goolsby out to about the 23-24 yard line. One of our student athletes in this particular game is Jerome Myers from North Carolina A&T, who is a 3.83 grade point average, civil engineering. He's a sophomore linebacker from Fayetteville, North Carolina's Pine Forest High, as the third quarter is coming to an end here in Charlotte, North Carolina, with South Carolina State comfortably ahead 35-7. But there's still 15 minutes of football to go. We'll see what happens. Stay with us. We'll be back with the final 15 in a moment.
He's short, but cute.
It is 35-7 as we start the fourth quarter here. The battle of the border. South Carolina State, as they say a lot of times, who would have thunk it? South Carolina State has dominated in this ball game. Here's the first touchdown to Forrest Morgan, and here's the return for 6 points on the interception by Ellaby, 75 yards. And then it was Chachi Morgan who takes, or Sullivan rather, takes it back to fumble, 51 yards. Then they block a punt. Myron picks it up, brings it back 37 yards. That's been the scoring basically. And here's McCampbell, 14 yards to King, and there it is.
Yeah, and that's called a good old-fashioned butt whooping that they put on him. Whoops, there it is. Whoops, there it is. And domination is an understatement. Coach Pugh's team has played a great football game, and just the one blemish on special teams. It'd be interesting to see if they can shut out this Aggie offense for the rest of the game.
It is third down, 3rd and 1 for South Carolina State. McCampbell offsides, and they may get the first down by default. With 50, this is the first play of the fourth quarter. You know, we were talking about the student athlete there from North Carolina A&T, Jerome Myers. We want to say congratulations to Tim Frazier of Hampton.
Offside, number 93 on the defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Darrell Hamilton. But I want to talk about Tim Frazier. He was named to the District 3 Academic All-American team, chosen by the College Sports Information Directors. He's the only student from an HBCU to be selected. So we want to say congratulations. Second year in a row he's had that honor. Here's over the middle, Cody Martin. And Cody Martin's across midfield, gets a good block, and is finally run out of bounds on the far sideline by Okorocha, but not before he picked up great yards and the flag comes in late.
Oh, I'm going to tell you, Michael King is enjoying his final game here in the Bulldog uniform. And Reese McCampbell did a good job of looking off the wide receiver, the running back, Cody Martin, coming through, and that was a good football player. Take a look here. He's going to look hard this way, and then here comes Martin, beating him on the inside, and as he makes a move outside, watch Michael King just shellac the Aggie defender trying to make the tackle there. If you're Michael King, you're a senior, that's how you go out in your last game, catching touchdowns and making blocks downfield. And Cody Martin on a little trickery there, a little misdeception, misdirection, pass play. Good job.
That was the longest pass completion to Cody Martin this year. Now the play is coming back. May have been something after a 37-yard completion for some reason or other, unless he stepped out of bounds. Let's see. We did have a flag.
And I think they called a personal foul, a little taunting penalty after the knockout block there. You know, you'll see Cody Martin at the end of this run. Take a look at what he does. He has a good run there, and as he gets up, look what he does. He got the defenders there, and he spikes the football there, and, you know, they're cracking down on spikes and taunts and things of that nature.
Unsportsmanlike again, and here on the carry this time for South Carolina State is Deshaun Baker out of Waddell High here in Charlotte.
And they're real high on him. The 5'10", 225-pound freshman. They think he's got a good future, and he's a big back. And anytime you get 225 pounds carrying the football, that's a big back, and they think he's got a tremendous future ahead of him down there in Bulldog land.
Average 5.2 yards a game coming in, a carry coming in, 2 touchdowns to his career, true freshman. It is second down. We'll call it 2nd and 5. And he gets the ball once again. Gets the first down across the 40, inside the 40 to the 39. So Deshaun Baker, as South Carolina State trying to use up some valuable clock time with the yards and running the ball on the ground, keeping it on the ground.
And that's what you want. This is where Reese McCampbell's senior leadership shows, hey, we're not in any rush. We're doing a no-huddle offense, but no rush. Let's let this clock tick so we can go ahead and celebrate with each other on the bus. You know, when I got big leads, it was like, all right, what can I do to get out of here quickly so I can go celebrate with my teammates?
First down and 10 at the 39 of A&T. McCampbell gives it up again. Here's Deshaun Baker. He's at the 10, 5 at the 2. Couldn't get in, and he's disappointed in himself. If he could have leapt into the end zone, he would have.
He would have. Curtis DeLoach had a hand, and then you had everybody else that was making grabs for him, so he did a good job. Look at the blitz. You've got everybody blitzing from A&T. If you get by this first line of scrimmage, there's nobody back here. So take a look as we run the play here. Blitz up the middle. He gets by the first initial line, and there's nobody to get him. Curtis DeLoach does a good job of showing he's got some speed and jets by getting a jersey on him at the end there, but great job of getting to that second level past the initial blitzing linebacker.
37 yards on the run by Deshaun Baker, which was his longest run of the year. Previously, his long run was 19. First and goal at the 2 when we come back. Under 13 minutes to go here in Charlotte.
The new Bowflex for ultimate results.
35-7, Aggie band. They're still partying, but the team hasn't had a lot to cheer about this afternoon. Let's look at our student athlete from South Carolina State. It is the tight end, Brandon Kennedy. He wears number 48. He's from Jackson Olin High in Birmingham, Alabama. There he is, Brandon Kennedy, our student athlete from South Carolina State. Civil engineering major with a 2.86 grade point average.
From
Congratulations, yes.
From Birmingham.
Biggest ham in the world.
The biggest ham in the world. Be down there in a couple weeks for that SWAC championship game.
Indeed.
Looking forward to going back down there.
We have Deshaun Baker, Cody Martin, and Willie Butler in the lineup. Full house backfield for South Carolina State on first and goal at the 2. It goes to Butler. No signal from the official. Willie Butler out of Mainland Valley High in Graniteville, South Carolina. Also a track and field man down there. Fullback, 6 foot, 225-pound junior.
Butler's one of those guys, he's got like the best job in sports. They don't bring him in when they get the ball on the 50-yard line. They bring him in when they get close to the goal line. And when he's in the game, you pretty much know he's going to touch the football.
He has 3 touchdowns rushing this year, and he'd only carried the ball 11 times.
Exactly. You get my point?
Same three, line up behind the quarterback. Butler gets it again. And did they say he got over? No signal? Yes. Yes, they do signal, finally, that he did break the plane.
Look at that. That's me. I'm the X factor. I come in the game and I just get touchdowns. That's all. Just run for touchdowns.
13 carries, 4 touchdowns, or 5 touchdowns this year. Make that 4.
So, look at that. You know, that was close whether or not he broke it, but a good second effort made it too close to call. So that's one of those things where it's so close to call, and his second effort just churning and burning and saying, man, you know, they can't stop me. You ever wonder what they say? What do guys say if they score a touchdown like that? They don't want none of this.
This drive started at their own 16-yard line, an 84-yard drive, and is culminated with the point after, and the lead is 42-7. And we'll be back here in Charlotte, North Carolina, as Mr. Butler extends the lead.
To learn more about the MEAC, visit our website, MEACsports.com, and support the favorite team.
The 42 points on the board for South Carolina State, their most this year. Their previous high was 41, and they scored that against Benedict, 41-7. MBC Network is your destination for live coverage of MEAC basketball. Catch some great black college basketball games. It all starts January 10th, right here on MBC. Charlie Neal along with Jay Walker, along with Carlos McCormick, here in Charlotte for the Battle of the Border. And bragging rights look like it's going to belong to South Carolina State for the 3rd straight year. Coming up the field is Phillips, and he goes out of bounds at about the 20-yard line, making the 18.
You know, one of the things about it, when you get schools that are this close, and you know, for years they've been the only teams from these states that are from there. South Carolina State's the only team from the MEAC in South Carolina, and same with A&T. You know, you just got to throw records out the window. Now you see why. We talk about it when you open up the telecast. You don't know what's going to happen, and this is the reason why. I mean, these guys are so close, and the states are so close, and they play each other all the time in high school level and Pop Warner and things like that. So they know each other well, and we got what you expected in this type of game. You didn't know what was going to happen. Who would have thought that special teams and defense would have been such a big factor in this football game?
This is a team, this Aggie team, that was ranked 5th in scoring defense in the nation, 2nd in total defense in the nation. And Marshall Glenn is sacked. He's going to lose yards all the way back to the 10-yard line. And so those are the most points that the Aggies have given up this year, plus the least amount of points that they scored. 13 was the previous least, and that was in that 13-7 win over Bethune-Cookman.
When you talk to a lot of the coaches around the conference, I was like, well, what is it with A&T? And every team, the coach that I talked to said, well, if we played them again, we would beat them. And I think what it is that South Carolina State is doing what those other teams talked about. They're like, hey, we can manhandle this team a little bit and get physical with them.
7-yard loss on the sack. It'll be 2nd and 17. Glenn from the gun. Throwing upfield. And it's caught. What a great catch on this side by Brandon Trusty, who Ellaby, he never even knew the ball was coming, and Trusty never let on that it was coming till the last minute when he put his arms up.
Yeah, you can talk about that being a great catch, but as a quarterback, I'm saying, wow, what a throw.
That was a
just run downfield and put it in your left pocket. Look at this ball here. He's going to drop this ball right in the left shoulder pocket.
You can't do any better than that.
Oh, that's a pretty throw there. Brandon Trusty, all you do is just run straight and keep running. If you look up, you're going to find the football just sitting there in your coat pocket. Good job, Brandon.
Good for 30 yards. And a first down in midfield. High snap. And the handoff to Scriven. And Scriven has another first down, and he's down to the 36 of South Carolina State.
Did you see that collision between Carl Scriven and Joel Taylor? Every now and then in the football game, you're going to get 1 or 2 plays like this. 2 guys running full speed right at each other. Take a look at the collision coming up here. Yeah, here comes the boom, and golly, Scriven is a load to bring down, and Joel Taylor's glad that somebody came from the side to throw his equilibrium off a little bit, but you only get about 1 or 2 big hits like that per football game.
And here's Scriven again. Hit initially in the backfield, and then at the line of scrimmage, he was brought down. Initial hit put on by Kenlock. Travis out of Newberry, South Carolina, number 98.
Look at Scriven, and as a running back, when you got that type of size on you, 6 feet, 215 pounds, when you get in that secondary, you're looking for somebody to take the punishment out on it. Joel Taylor did the right thing because he weighs a $185, and $185 versus 220 running right at you, you better get low.
It is 2nd and 9. Sideline broken up at the last minute. Intended for Doug Brown. Justin Kenley was the defender for South Carolina State.
And we saw him throwing the deep ball early there and trying to go up there and make a play. And Kenley stepped up and made some big plays today. Every now and then you get pass happy. Take a look at the crossing pattern here. You're going to have here wide open, the tight end wide open here. Nobody's covering him. They blew the coverage. He's locked in on the receiver he was going to throw the football to, going with the one-on-one matchup there. Take the pass underneath. I know you threw a pretty go route before. Crossing man wide open.
On 3rd and 9. Here they come. Gets it off, but it's incomplete. Again, it was Doug Brown, the intended receiver. Pressure was put on the quarterback by William Oliver.
And pressure's been the theme for this Bulldog defense. I mean, they're blitzing him from every angle, playing one-on-one coverage, and just harassing the quarterback, whoever it's in the game for A&T.
Do you punt at this situation?
I wouldn't, because you don't know how many times you're going to get down here.
I mean, it's 4th down. I understand it's 4th and 9, but you're down by 35 points. So I guess they're going to play it safe. Just let it go.
That's why we're in the booth, Charlie.
Brandenburg. Correction, I should say. It is not Brandenburg, but Yannick Matthews to punt it away, and they get the little punt to die at the 1-yard line. So maybe not a bad decision after all.
Yeah, the key was if you do make that decision to punt the ball, then your special teams has to come up with a big play. And they did by down inside the 1-yard line. Now they can maybe get a safety here and get the ball back in better field position. But I just don't know how often you get the ball down there this late in the game.
Let's go down to Carlos right now.
Joining me now are two very special people in Oliver Pugh, his mother and his brother Toby Pugh, and his mother joining me right now, Margie Pugh. How proud of you are your son?
Very. Not just because of his football skills, but also because he's such a fine person, He's been a great role model and a great son, wonderful father to his 2 boys. So those are the things that I'm most proud of.
Talk a little bit about when he was a youngster. Could you see it in his eyes that one day he would be a coach, specifically South Carolina State University?
Oh, yes. Even when he was a child, but he always had an opinion about something, If he were in a crowd, you would always know that he was going to be one of the leaders in that group. So it didn't surprise me at all when he went into coaching.
And joining me also now is his younger brother, Toby. Talk a little bit about Big Brother and what was he like when he was a kid?
His buddy was always good to me. I mean, taught me to do things right, do things in the right path. Do things in a good way so we can get things done as a family. And he's always telling me when I was playing sports is try to do things in a sportsmanlike manner and and do things on the way to go.
Now, from what I understand, you guys have been around South Carolina State football since you were knee-high.
Man, I can remember one time when we didn't miss a game for 5 years. So when he started playing, that was just something that just went in his family. When he used to play, I was right there watching him. When he was coaching, it was just something that it was just a routine Saturday, something to do.
Now, Ms. Pugh, you went to Claflin University. Your husband went to South Carolina State, and your 2 sons also went to South Carolina State University. Talk a little bit about the importance of historically black colleges and university and why you decided to send your sons to one.
Well, I always feel like a historically black university is a place where students can get a good education in a small school setting. And so often they have parents and grandparents who have graduated from such universities. So there's always that sense of family when you go back to a historically black university.
Thanks a lot, Jay. Charlie, Thanksgiving dinner in South Carolina. You going to join me?
Yeah, no question about it. Meantime, there was a safety by South Carolina State. They brought in a new quarterback, and Brett Young, Jr. out of McDonough High in New Orleans. He was trapped in the backfield, and there you see Buddy Pugh talking to him. Why didn't you get it out of there, son? And 2 points for A&T.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if he necessarily had time to get rid of the football there. You know, it was what we call a good old-fashioned jailbreak. Everybody was coming for him in the end zone. He got trapped back there. He tried to get out there, just couldn't maneuver it. Rather than Coach Pugh get so upset at Coach Young, and he's talking to that offensive lineman, why'd you let 4 guys have a chance at my quarterback in the end zone?
And so the Aggies will get the ball back by way of a kick, free kick. And we'll see if they can do something with it with 8:23 to go. You know, one of the things everybody's concerned about, I guess, when you talk about the MEAC, there are 2 possibilities. Bethune-Cookman has a chance possibly to get in. They're playing in the Florida Classic, and they're playing Florida A&M today. Should they win, there's a chance that the MEAC will send 2 teams to the 1AA playoffs. But regardless, everybody's wondering where the Aggies are going to be next week, and so are we. You know, there's a lot of scenarios, a lot of possibilities. There's 8 conferences that get automatic bids as this kick goes out of bounds. 8 conferences get an automatic bid. 16 teams go. Florida Atlantic is probably the one independent team as you look at the MEAC standings right now coming into today's action. That will get an opportunity to go. But as far as other conferences, we know that McNeese State will probably get in there. You look at Wolford, who South Carolina State played earlier in the year. They'll probably go in. The Gateway Conference will probably get 2. The Atlantic 10 will probably, Gateway Conference will probably get 4 teams in. Atlantic 10 will probably get 2 teams in. And so, and possibly 3 with UMass, Delaware, and possibly Villanova. So we'll see what happens. The awards, the bids will go out tomorrow to the various conferences and the teams, and there'll be a press conference letting everybody know. There's the playoff history for the Aggies. In '86, they played Georgia Southern. They lost to them. In '92, they played the Citadel. They beat them 44, lost to them rather 44-0. They beat Tennessee in the first round in '99 before losing in the second round. First down and 10 now at midfield, and now a bad snap, and Glenn is going to lose about 8 yards.
And, you know, outside of that, when it rains, it pours, and that's what you saw there with the high snap they couldn't get a hold of. But, you know, taking a look at that seeding there, I think this loss is really going to hurt the conference. Because you got to look at the fact that South Carolina State is beating A&T bad, and even though A&T beat Bethune-Cookman, how great can they be if they're getting beat like this by South Carolina State? So I think it hurts the power rankings a little bit. Bethune-Cookman may be the one on the short end of the stick here. If A&T would have won this game, they should have probably had a good case for getting in, but with A&T losing today, I don't know if that helps their cause at all.
You make a very valid point there. When the committee is looking at these things, they look at strength of schedule and a lot of other things and what you've done, and then you lose to a team that hasn't played very well this year. As you look at going for 6, and down outside at the 2-yard line is Phillips on the reception. So Phillips gets something going for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. That's Bud Phillips out of Greenville, North Carolina.
Yeah, he caught the quick slant pass, and he made the first defensive back miss. And then it's all about creasing the zone and finding some place to run to, getting good blocks downfield, and putting the ball in the proper hand for it, the left arm, and then he goes there and runs into that wall over there. And I think that may have made him a little woozy over there. He's dragging that shoulder. He slid and had his momentum carry him right into the wall over there. But that's a good effort talking about don't quit.
55 yards on the catch and run by Bud Phillips. His previous long reception was 69, and they keep the ball on the ground with Scriven. Let's watch the end of the previous play on Bud Phillips as he's hit out of bounds.
Yeah, and he's got the ball protected properly in his left arm, and as he's going down, he gets hit hard, and then all that momentum just takes him into that wall, and that wall is a concrete barricade of stone rocks that goes around it. The referee got stuck, and look at all the Aggies around there. They're there to pick him up. All the yellow coats might have cushioned his blow, but probably got a little bit of a stinger there, and you hate to see that after a great run like that.
Second and goal at the 2 for the Aggies. Scriven, the second back in the aisle. Marshall Glenn, the quarterback. And here's Scriven trying to dance outside. He will not get away from big number 79 there on the defensive side of the ball for South Carolina State. And that is Robert Brown.
And this is what you want from your defensive tackle. You get penetration by these big fellas weighing 300-plus pounds. And 300 pounds, all he has to do is grab an ankle and hold on. Do like in Vogue, hold on. I used to say one of those in Vogue tackles.
It is 3rd and goal at the 4.
Play action.
6:15 to go.
Play action.
Marshall Glenn has shown his ability to throw the ball in this game so far. And he's been rusty because he hadn't played in a couple games. They're going to keep it on the ground. Here's Marcus Dunn, and he will not get in. 4th down. Taylor is there. Turner is there with the red jerseys for the defensive unit of South Carolina State.
And if they're going to run the ball on 3rd and about 5 from the goal line, it's pretty safe to assume they're going to go for it. But you know, as they bring out the field goal unit to shut Jay Walker up, I would say it'd be a pretty good bet that they were going to take 2 plays to get in the end zone. But they're going to go for the field goal here, maybe just to make sure their kicking game is in order for the playoff run.
And Yannick Matthews has done a pretty good job in the kicking game this year. In field goals, 14 of 20. He missed one earlier today, a 39-yarder. And this one will be a 19-yard attempt. It's blocked and picked up, this time by Ellaby. And Ellaby is going to score. Ellaby is going to score at the 5. Touchdown, South Carolina State. His 2nd touchdown of the day. He had a 75-yard interception earlier. This one looked like it was about a